Hello and good day to all our viewers all around the world. Today it's Saturday, May 6, 2023, serving you detailed news. It's a new day to start with our fresh and timely news, and you are watching Daily Alyansa Moralista. In today's news, we Alyansa Moralista emphasizes the coverage by explaining the advantages and disadvantages of the current implementation of the mother tongue-based multilingual education in the country. As one of the government's breakthrough programs for education, as a salient part of the implementation of the K-12 basic education program. Here, let us know first, what is MDB-MLE all about? This is Maria Rosa Camila O. Mahinay, your news anchor for today. According to the presentations and discussions at the 4th International Conference on Language and Education, Multilingual Education for All in Asia and the Pacific, Policies, Practices, and Processes, held in Bangkok, Thailand, the mother tongue-based multilingual education, or MTB-MLE, is about so much more than just changing the language in the textbooks, the tests, or the teacher uses in the classroom. It is all about re-envisioning learning so that it centers on the critical thinking and wider social skills needed in a rapidly changing world. And it's about challenging power dynamics in the learning environment so that the students can direct their own learnings in ways that are meaningful to them. So MTB-MLE requires the use of the mother tongue as a language of instruction in the classroom. However, it is not about restricting access to the national and international languages. Rather, MTB-MLE is about properly preparing children to learn these languages as well. So starting in the language they know best allows the children to build a strong foundation which enables them to make an effective transition into other national or international languages in due course. For the detailed information and the advantages of this reform, here's Ms. Lorraine de Guzman reporting the news.
Yes, Maria. In terms of the implementation of mother tongue-based multilingual education, or the MTB-MLE, there are advantages expected that relevant to the student's learning process. Language has stood as a major factor of learning. It aims to make the student be familiarized with the language of the curriculum being used. It is expected to create a great learning environment to the learners. Thus, it will improve the confidence of the learners in terms of participating in discussion and sharing their ideas in class. It is easier for them to learn and absorb lessons much more effectively, since they are comfortable with the teaching language. The participation of parents in their child's academic matter will be much more frequent. Thus, it will help them to have better communication with their child in doing their assignments and school activities. It is also expected that the rate of dropouts in school will decrease, with the aims of the new curriculum to be prevented students from being left behind. Hopefully, the students and teacher will enjoy the learning and teaching practice being held under the curriculum. Lorraine de Guzman.
Thank you, Ms. de Guzman. And that was the advantages we truly anticipated for the MTB-MLE. However, considering that there's advantages means that there's also cons about it. And now let us hear from the next reporter, Ms. Elaine Joy Sinoag, on how this reform has disadvantages to education.
Yes, MTB-MLE implementation has been criticized for its ineffectiveness and insufficient in implementation. Vital articles and findings have found out and that not all parents and stakeholders are agreeing to the implementation, and that although they appreciate their mother tongue language, it is hard for them to learn long and deep terminologies or are still having difficulties in translation. Additionally, youth are being taught in pursuance of going and integrating with mainstream society, making it more difficult for them to keep up with the global economy. Furthermore, the biggest challenges in keeping the implementation are the lack of instructional materials, reading materials, and oral handouts. These issues lead to students lacking in terms of developing their reading and oral skill, as well as their overall interaction in a multilingual environment. Hence, people are expecting DepEd and the government to take action to ensure that things are clear, that funding is clear, and that the program is carefully managed in the first place, and that there should be reform now that enable teachers and students to receive such sustainable teaching and learning foundations. As for additions is we have the current approval of the lower house to the suspension of implementation of the MTB-MLE last February by our senior fellow researcher. He stated that clearly there is still a lot of work still to be done on MTB-MLE. Fortunately, the Congressional Policy and the Budget Research Department and the Ateneo Center for Economic Research and Development ACERD has recently announced a partnership to help ensure that the policies Congress will approve and fund have solid evidence to support them. According to Representative Stella Kimbo, the partnership will form 11 joint research teams to cover the government's socio-economic agenda. Thank you. This is Elaine reporting.
Thanks for that, Ms. Sinag. Students of the University of the Philippines Open University have finished their course at EDS 106, Culture, Language, and Education, so let's hear from their learnings. Let's have Ms. Lorraine de Guzman, Ms. Maria Rosa Camila O. Mahinay, and Ms. Elaine Joy Sinoag.
My major takeaway is to be able to identify the diversity of culture and language in education, and how it majorly affects the learning environment of learners. Multicultural education must enlighten the students about different culture in order for them to understand and accept the culture of others. It aims to prevent discrimination, inequality, and racism from happening in the school environment. Students are not only being included in multicultural education, but also the teacher, principal, facilitator, and other staff. They must not apply any prejudice and imbalanced treatment to their practice, which can contribute in making the environment free from discrimination and racism. This is why students will be comfortable expressing themselves and socializing with others without having hesitation in mind that others will not accept them.
In addition, language is also significant to consider, knowing that the language has helped people communicate with each other. It also serves as a medium for people to share ideas and knowledge with each other. So this will be the bridge that will make people united through sharing culture, beliefs, values, and traditions. Considering language in the curriculum of the Philippines is a great aspect of establishing a much affecting teaching and learning practice. So just like implementing mother tongue-based multilingual education or MTB-MLE to the K-12 curriculum, it is to help students to absorb lessons easier and be more confident and comfortable expressing themselves to another. So they enjoy their learning journey. So they knowing that they are familiar with the teaching language being used in the discussion and that the learning material consists of their primary language. I very much appreciation for sharing learnings to the viewers and hope for a wonderful journey ahead of you. That is the daily morning news for this Saturday. Thanks for watching. Again, my name is Maria Rosa Camila O. Mahinay, your anchor for today. Have a great day ahead.